Hello, Liz. This is Lauren Sprieser. I am watching you ride Q, your 100-mile endurance horse, which is amazing, P.S. If I'm ever going for a 100-mile walk, something had better be chasing me, something with teeth. So you say that she is a girl, so she believes that she's the most wonderful thing on the planet and is never wrong. And also that she's very forward, which I can see here as she's dragging you around. So hot horses, energetic horses, and inattentive horses, or all of the above horses, there's one way through it, and that is a million transitions. The good thing about horses is that they're not amazing multitaskers. They're not great at, doing 5 things. So you give them 7 things to think about. You make transitions and you make a lot of turns. Like I'm now watching that you've made 2 laps around the arena, which looks like a big arena. Oh, there's a circle. But man, like long sides, kiss of death for an inattentive or forward thinking horse. I wouldn't leave a small figure, a 20-meter circle, even a 15-meter circle, even a 15-meter circle right followed by a 15-meter circle left, something that puts the ball in your court when it comes to keeping her attention on you and maintaining an energy level that's easy to maintain instead of just running her down. Basically what you're doing right now is you're lunging her with you sitting on top of her. And as you're undoubtedly aware, a horse that's fit enough to go for 100 miles isn't going to lunge down. It's just not going to happen. Way more figures, lots of turning, lots of busy work and transitions. I mean, with a horse like this, I would do transitions every 6 steps, every 8 steps. I would not let her go on and on and on at all in any gait. An exercise I really like is to go on a 20-meter circle and, trot for 8 steps, then walk for 8 steps, then trot for 8 steps, then canter for 8 steps, then trot for 8 steps. And whether it's 8 or 6 or 10, 6 is kind of varsity. 10 is a good place to start. It tends to put the ball back in my court as far as being attentive is concerned. She is a Morgan and an Arabian cross, and those are both horses that tend to be long in the back, short in the neck, and a little bit curvy, sort of a boat shape rather than concave versus convex. I don't know. I'm a liberal arts major. I don't remember my high school science class, but one of those is an upward curve and one of those is a downward curve. And for a horse like her who wants to be up curving, on the bit is going to just be something that you have to work at a little harder than you might on a different type of horse. Doesn't mean it's impossible, but it just means that you're going to have to approach it differently. So every time you come in front of me, I see that there's just a little bit of love in your outside rein. It's a little bit slack. I would have more contact. And even if that means that for a period of time her neck gets too short or too low or both, I think that she needs to be on the bit. The Jesus take the wheel approach to the contact isn't going to help you package your horse, isn't going to help you put all of that energy and attentiveness that you're creating and managing well once you've made a million transitions and a million nice figures to good use. The textbooks say, the horse must seek the contact. Yeah, but they have to have a contact to seek. So I think that something else that I would do, this is a little bit better here, is to make sure that you've got that outside rein, make sure that you've got a connection to the outside rein, even if it means that she bends a little to the outside. Here you have no outside rein and she's a little bit flexed to the outside. That doesn't tell me that you need a less outside rein. It tells me you need more. And then you need a ton of inside leg. So once you've made your circle of transitions and your circle of speed control using the figures, I would then make that circle into spiraling in and spiraling out, making sure that she's really around that inside leg, make sure that she's really facing the outside rein. And don't be shy about taking a hold of her. You won't break her. You're in a snaffle bridle. I'm sure you're a nice, strong lady, but, she weighs 800 pounds, I think 900 pounds, depending on how tall she is. I think that you can take a hold of her mouth and nobody will die. Woo! Leg yield left, except that wasn't a leg yield left. It was a halt salute. So make sure that you're thinking about riding her straight to a point out behind your cameraman. And that's where you've got to make sure that you have both reins. And you mentioned that she was really inattentive on this day. And yes, I agree with Newton's 8th law of filming, which means that, whenever you have the camera person, your horse becomes incredibly untrained. But, if you were not having a good attentive day, don't do a test. A test tells you that you have to do something at a particular point. You're at a place with this horse where really she needs to be doing lots of small, busy work things. I think that a lot of long sides and a lot of sort of uncomplicated figures aren't going to help you at all. I think that giving her more to do is going to serve you much better. This is a nice downward transition. Generally speaking, no one ever got in trouble going forward. Her energy's fabulous. It's, I know, sometimes for good and sometimes for evil. But you have really a blessing in a horse that wants to go. I know sometimes it's annoying, but it's a blessing for sure. So now it's just about putting her on the aids, about making sure that she channels that energy for good. And that means giving her more stuff to do, like that alongside there, into this big circle. It's doing you no favors. I know it seems like the intro tests, the training level tests, the beginner novice tests should set a horse at the beginning of their dressage journey up for success, but really it sort of sets them up for failure. It's too many long straight lines, too much openness. And for a horse like her, I think more busy work for sure. Yeah, because there she's running, but she's behind your leg. You had to kick her in order to keep her cantering because she's just bearing down on that sort of open, floaty contact rather than sitting back and taking time and listening. Crazy as it sounds, you got to put more leg on a hot horse than less. This is a lovely walk. In a perfect world, I'd like her to stretch down more than out. But man, the activity and the steps are really, really, really excellent. The roundness is the next thing. Oh, hello, gray spectator. Hello. Don't you bite her. Yeah, and I know there's no arena letters here, but it looks, certainly from where I'm sitting, like you're riding a very accurate test, which is something that's going to serve you well if dressage shows are a thing that you're going to do. This is nice. Good. Narrow to a point out in front of you. Look behind your cameraman. Look behind the judge's booth and ride out to that point like a photograph of a road narrowing to a point out on the horizon. That's going to help you make that center line a little straighter and that halt a little straighter. All right. Beginner novice A. I think that's the weirdest damn movement, by the way. That come in. Whoop. Turn right. Never mind. But the USCA did not ask me for my opinion, so whatever. Good, and here, yes, she is very counter-bent. You're going to fix that by really making her take the outside rein, having some outside rein, and then using that inside leg to push her into it, rather than pulling on the inside rein and hoping for the best. Don't let her con you into riding her off of the inside rein. Yes, I know that barrel. Oh my, it's gonna get you. Poor muffin. Whee. Yep, and she's reasonably equal opportunity bent to the outside. There, she's starting to come over back a little bit. I think that she for sure is more hollow right than left, which is true of most horses. I think most riders like to make their horses a little bit hollow right. Most horses like to be a little hollow right. But for sure, you make sure that you can put her on a 20-meter circle, spiral in and out, and have her reach into that outside rein while maintaining inside bend on her own because of your inside leg. And I know it also helps that there's lots of exciting things to look at outside of the arena. This gray horse is very cute. Dead. She's got a really lovely walk for an energetic horse. I could see why her walk would get short and choppy with tension, and she doesn't, which is wonderful. Walks are really hard things to improve on a tight horse. Good. Yeah, so this way she's a little straighter voluntarily, but I have a feeling that it's more about good luck and less about really being honestly into your outside rein around your inside leg. Yep. I think that it's easy to put yourself in a mindset of, well, my horse is hot and energetic and ignoring me, like it's that the horse needs to try harder, and for sure she does. But I think you also can do more to set her up for success, that, it's not totally fair to be like, hey, horsey, pay attention to me, and then say nothing for 5 minutes and ride her on big open circles and big open lines. If she's inattentive, give her more stuff to do. And these tests are too uncomplicated. They have too little going on to use them as a technique to focus an unfocused horse. And yes, she needs to try a little harder, and she does need to give this whole dressage nonsense a chance. But the onus is on you too, to make sure that you do things that are gonna, nice footing, do things that are gonna set her up for success.